Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Namastapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupagadamiyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsham Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Itinaminim Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarane Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradhayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpata Rupesya Kripa Sindhupe Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna. Welcome to our continuation of Bhakti Bhagavad Cosmology classes, part of Bhakti Vaibhav. So in the last week we were discussing from Bhugola Varnanam some of the references in order to understand some of the missing points from the Bhagavatam about the cross-sectional view of the entire Bhumandala, and we also kind of concluded why some part of the Bhumandala is visible to us, why other parts are not visible to us because of the time in which we are situated in Kali Yuga. Some of the references for that about some light years, the concept of stars also we discussed. And with that additional information from Bhugala Varnanam, today we'll continue from Bhagavatam, starting from chapter 21 onwards, wherein there is a description about the 14 planetary systems. So we kind of studied about Bhuloka, the entire Bhumandala, which is nothing but Bhuloka. And today onwards we'll try to study from Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. And maybe in the next class we will study about Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. It's like that. So we saw about Bhumandala, and now, so this is like a quick summary of the entire Bhumandala, what we have seen. So we have Aloka Varsha, Loka Mountain, and Loka Varsha. Within Loka Varsha again two sections. One is the Golden Land, other one is the 7 oceans, 7 islands. So here 7th ocean, 7th island, 6th ocean, 6th island, etc. with intermediate mountains. And 2nd ocean, 2nd island, 1st ocean. This white dot is the 1st island. And then we also saw the same thing. There is free space. So this is the entire Bhumandala with all different divisions. The 4 elephants above. And within the middlemost one, Jambudvipa. Within Jambudvipa, we have 9 Varshas and 9 mountains. And there is Bharata Varsha. Within Bharata Varsha, there are 9 islands. The 9th island is Bharatakanda. So that is where we have discussed. So in one sense. So we also saw that entire Bhumandala and where exactly our Earth globe is there. It is called as Bharatakanda, etc. So with that background information, with this kind of cross-section of the entire Bhumandala, now we'll get into the planetary systems which are there within our universe. This is called as the vertical structure of the universe. Here we are going upward. The Bhumandala is in the middle. With respect to the Bhumandala, we are gradually going upward. If you see the picture, so this is the entire Bhumandala. And now we are going to see in the upward direction what is there. And eventually we also see downward direction what is there. So with respect to the surface of the Bhumandala, the first one as you go upward is the sun. Sun is the master of heat, and heats up and lights up the 3 planetary systems by its light. Is situated vertically in the middle of the universe, and in the middle of the Antariksha or Bhuvarloka, which spreads to a width of 0.2 million yojanas or 2 lakh yojanas. So with respect to the surface of the Bhumandala, here is Manasutra mountain. Just above this mountain at height of 1 lakh yojanas, the sun is situated. And above that, 1 more lakh yojanas if you take from here to here, the 2 lakh yojanas intermediate space, this is called Bhuvarloka. And this entire thing is called Bhumandala or Bhuloka. And from the surface of the Bhumandala, about 2 lakh yojanas, this area, it is called Bhuvarloka. And exactly in the middle of this Bhuvarloka, sun is situated. Bhuvarloka is also called Antariksha, and sun is at a height of 1 lakh yojanas. And with respect to sun, as you go upward, the universe is there for 250 million yojanas, and downward also there is 250 million yojanas. And Bhagavatam says that exactly above this Manasutra mountain is the chariot wheel of the sun god. And this chariot wheel is connected to one axle. The other end of the same axle is connected to the base of Mount Meru here. And the length of this axle is 15.75 million yojanas, which is the radius of the Manasutra mountain. And this first axle is connected to a second axle. One side of that is connected to the Dhruvaloka. Second side is connected to the first axle just above saltwater ocean. Here we have Jambudvipa. After Jambudvipa, there is saltwater ocean surrounding it. And there, the first axle is connected to the second axle. So with the help of the second axle, Dhruva controls the movement of sun's chariot. And the second axle will be 1/4 of the first axle. If the first axle is 15.75, 1/4 of that is 3.9, more or less very close to 4 million yojanas. That will be the length of the second axle. So from Pushkaradipa to the base, to the sun god position, where sun is seated, that height is 1 lakh yojanas. And the chariot of the sun god is compared to the traditional oil pressing machine. Here you see, it almost looks like this one only. Here we have Mount Meru and Dhruva, second axle, first axle, and sun god chariot is driven by horses. Same way. This is like the Mount Meru. This is like the pole star, and this is like the axle 1. This is like axle 2. Here bulls are driving this entire oil pressing machine. Something like that. And if the chariot wheel is located at a distance of 15.75 million yojanas and is located at height of 1 lakh yojanas, now we'll see details. The mountain itself is around 10,000 yojanas. From the peak of the mountain at a height of 50,000 yojanas, and a pathway made up of wind, the chariot wheel travels. That is at a height of 50,000 yojanas. From the base of the chariot wheel to the place where sun is seated, the seat to the seat, it will be another 40,000 yojanas. So 40 plus 50 plus 10, total will be 1 lakh yojanas. Like that, Sri Swami explains why it is 1 lakh. So these are the different calculations. And though the chariot wheel is located at a distance of 15.75, then what distance sun is there? What will be the distance between sun and earth and sun and the Mount Meru? That is kind of mentioned in Hanuman Chalisa by Tulsidas. So in one of the dohe, it says that Tumharo mantra vibhishana mana Lankeshwara bhaya sabajaga jana Juga sahasra yojana parabanu Lilyo tai madura falajanu. The meaning is the sun is located at a distance of Juga Sahasra Yojana. So on one early morning, considering the sun to be a fruit, Hanumanji as a small boy jumped all the way to a distance of Juga Sahasra Yojana. Yojana means Yojana, Sahasra means 1,000. Juga means one Chaturyuga, one Divya Yuga, consisting of Satya, Treta, Dwapara and Kali. In Devata years, one Yuga or one Chaturyuga lasts for 12,000 Devata years. So Juga taken as 12,000. 12,000 into Sahasra is 1,000. It becomes 12 million yojanas. That means the distance between the center of Mount Meru to sun, or the earth from where Hanumanji jumped to sun is about 12 million yojanas approximately, the closest round figure. So 1 yojana is 8 miles, it becomes 96 million miles, and 1 mile is 1.609 kilometers, then it becomes 153.6 million kilometers. Even the modern science talks about the distance between earth and sun, which is called as 1 astronomical unit, which is equal to 150 million kilometers. So here it comes to 153.6. Basically, in Sanskrit, they use the closest round figures. So they have chosen this Juga Sastra Yojana. If this number is converted into yojanas, it becomes 11 point something. It becomes very difficult to write in Sanskrit. So they have taken the nearby round figure, which is easy to write down. So this is how the distance between earth and sun is kind of indicated in Hanuman Chalisa by Sri Tulsidas. So being seated in that chariot, the sun god very elegantly travels day in day out every day, making one round around Mount Meru. And his chariot is driven by 7 horses, whose names are the names of the 7 meters, Gayatri, Anushtup, Trishtup, etc. And the driver is Aruna, who is the elder brother of Garuda. So that is a brief discussion about sun. And it is because of sun, the entire world, especially the Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka and Sargaloka are maintained and nourished, and all of us are surviving. As a result of that, sun is called as the chief living entity. So the king of all living entities, the chief living entity, like that is mentioned. Then as we go upward, there comes the moon. The moon is situated at 1 lakh yojanas above the rays of the sun. So which rays? Those rays which are coming to us, Earth globe. So with respect to those rays which are coming to Earth globe, the moon is located at of 1 lakh yojanas. Arka gabastibhya uparistal laksha yojanata upalabhya mano. With waxing and waning phases, the moon creates day for the devatas, night for the pitrus during its waxing phase, and day for the pitrus, night for the devatas during its waning phase. So basically, the moon in one of the verses talks about this particular information. So based on information, we can understand that on the moon, there are 2 categories of people are residing. So on one side, devatas are residing, and the other side, pitrus are residing. So over a period of a fortnight, the devatas will have daytime, the pitrus will have nighttime, and during the other fortnight, the devatas will have nighttime and pitrus will have daytime. So here if you see, this is how the moon revolves around Earth in a circular fashion. And that moon has 2 divisions. So one side devatas are residing, one side pitrus are residing. These are not all devatas, but one category of devatas who are known as sadhyas. They actually reside in this particular place. So this is the location where devatas reside. This is the location where pitrus reside. When pitrus having daytime, devatas will have nighttime, and devatas having nighttime, pitrus have daytime. Just like in our Earth globe, if this part of the Earth is bright, they are experiencing daytime, and this part of the Earth will be experiencing nighttime. The same concept applicable to moon also. But our daytime lasts for 12 hours, but their daytime lasts for 1 fortnight, 15 days. That was the top view. This is like the front view. In either case, so at any given point of time, half of the moon is exposed to sun, it will be bright, and other half is dark. So here there is a wonderful information from Vayu Purana, which says that the sun is made up of condensed fire element. So sun is like basically fire only, but it is very condensed, very difficult. If one goes nearby, will burn to ashes. And similarly, earth is made up of condensed earth element. Though on the surface of the earth we may see water here and there, but in the center, that overall the earth globe and the entire Bhumandalam is predominantly made up of earth element. Just like sun is condensed fire element, earth is condensed earth element. Similarly, moon is made up of condensed water element. Moon planet is basically a icy planet, and this is mentioned in Vaipurana, which says that Gana Toyatmakam Tatra Mandalam Shishinasmrutam Gana Tejomayam Shukla Mandalam Bhaskarasute. The sun is made up of Gana Tejomayam, solidified fire, and Shashina moon is made up of Ghana Toyatmakam. Toya means water. We see in the traditional temples. So we hear this word Toyam, etc. So the moon is made up of solid water, basically ice. So thus, moon is not an abandoned planet. On one side of the moon there is the Pitrus, other side of the moon there are Devatas known as Sadhyas. In the scriptures, Ramayana, Mahabharata, wherever we hear about Pitruloka, that Pitruloka is nothing but the moon planet. The moon planet is actually the Pitruloka. So then Rigveda talks about the exact distances between the sun and earth, the moon and earth, etc. Their dimensions, their positions, etc. So everything is in relation to 108. It says that Rigveda says that the diameter of the earth is 1000 and the diameter of the sun is 108 times the diameter of the earth. So 1000 into 108, it becomes 108,000. Then the distance between the earth and sun is 108 times to the diameter of the sun. So 108,000 into 108, that becomes 11.664 million yojanas. In the previous slide, we saw that Hanumanji jumped to a distance of 12 million yojanas, which is approximate closest round figure. But exact number is 11.664. When we converted 12 million yojanas into kilometers, it became 153 million kilometers. But if we convert this number, it will be exactly 150 million kilometers, one astronomical unit. So this is how the Vedas also will give us information. And the angle of the sun disk is 1/108 radians. So angle means early in the morning when we see sun, it appears to be like a sun globe there, the right hand side. So when you draw a line to the top, when you draw a line to the bottom of the sun, so what is the angle between these two lines? That is called as angle of sun disk. That will be half degree. Similarly for moon, the diameter of the moon is 108/400 times the diameter of the earth. If earth diameter is 1000. So basically it's supposed to be 1/4 of the diameter of the earth. So because 108 comes into picture, so 108/400. So it will be 270 yojanas. And the distance between the moon and earth. So then 108 times to the diameter of the moon, 270 into 108, that becomes 29,160 yojanas. And then the angle of moon is the same concept as that of sun, 1/108 and 0.5305. Just for comparison, we see from the modern day values, the ratio between the sun diameter to the diameter of the earth, it comes 109, which is said here 108. The ratio between the sun earth distance to the sun diameter, it comes up to 108. So here also 108. And then the angle of the sun disk varies from 0.52 to 0.54. The mean value is 0.53, which are closely matching. And for the same thing for the moon, the diameter ratio between the diameter of the moon to earth diameter, it is 109/400. So then the moon disk angle also varies from 0.49 to 0.55. The mean value is around 0.52. So it's like that. We see all these numbers 109/400 or 110, where the ratio between the moon and the distance to the moon diameter, they are very closely matching to the Vedic numbers. So in one sense, with 108, we can calculate all these numbers as per the Rigveda. So it was about the moon. Then there is a question whether the man goes to moon or not. Man can go to moon or not. So there are a couple of understandings. I mean, from Google, from NASA, we see that 1965 Apollo 11 was sent to moon. Neil Armstrong, Gagarin, they are landed on the moon, etc. We hear, and NASA also claimed that 6 more times they have sent different scientists to land on the surface of the moon. So they became successful. But later on, they are trying to send the mission, but they are not. They could not become successful. So getting failed like that. So many things they say. So that is even various countries also trying very hard. India sent many years back and also Chandrayaan-1 and recently Chandrayaan-2. Chandrayaan-1 has become successful to capture the images of the moon by traveling in the orbit of the moon. And Chandrayaan-2, instead of capturing the images, it fell down, and after also it's like that. So where it fell down, no one knows. It lost communication basically. So then Russia also trying to do something. China also trying to do something. Like different countries are doing something on landing on the moon, sending road rovers to moon, etc., etc. So, but Vedic understanding is the moon planet is not an abandoned planet, and its constitution is it is an icy planet. It is just like our Earth is made up of solidified water. Earth, the moon is made up of solidified water. So that is one thing. If at all one wants to go to moon, one's body needs to be made up of earth element, not water element, not earth element. Our body is not compatible. And if at all we want to go to the moon actually belongs to the Pitrus and Devatas. We need their permission to go there. With their permission, with their blessings, we can happily go there, stay there for a while and come back. That is little understanding. So in that way. So before going further, any questions based on sun and moon? Hare Krishna, any questions? Devotees can unmute and speak instead of writing on the there is a message that host please unmute us. I don't know who is the host.
Prabhu, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhu, now we can hear you.
Okay, Prabhu. Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada, he's giving this. Srila Prabhupada said, moon planet, man never went, but moon planet is beyond the sun planet. That's what he said. But here it looks, this distance is means very less from the earth.
From the vertical height point of view, as it is said in the Bhagavatam, the sun is below and moon is above. But the orbital radius of the moon's orbit is very small compared to that of sun. You can see here. The sun at the distance, there is 11 million yojanas, and this is just 29,000 yojanas. It is very small. But the position of the planets like this is not a permanent position. What is mentioned by Srila Vyasadeva in Bhagavatam or Vishnu Purana and all other Puranas, it is the position of the planets on one of the Makara Sankrantis. Maybe while he was compiling all the scriptures on one of the Makara Sankrantis, taking the reference of that Makara Sankranti as put reference. But eventually with the concept of Uttara and Dakshina, sun also goes above and below, moon also goes above and below. All the Navagrahas, they go above and below. They are not always here in this position with respect. So on this day, sun is at a height of 1 lakh yojanas. But later on, maybe 6 months later, currently we are in the month of May. So in the month of May, June, the sun goes all the way here. Sun will be so much high. So then moon will be below, obviously.
Okay.
So that is not a permanent position.
Okay. Thank you.
Pavaneshwar, one question. So in terms of the living entities on the moon, you were speaking about the Pitris and Sadhyas. So is it that, so obviously from our understanding, they have a subtle body, right? So which means even if physically Earth men were to send a spaceship, they would not be able to see those entities and that civilization, even though it actually exists. Right? That is one understanding. Perhaps you can confirm. And second is the understanding that when we speak about divine beings living on the moon and the sun, or for that matter, any of the planets as we see them as globes, is it understanding that the entities are staying on the surface, or are we saying that there are entities inside the globe of those respective planets?
In the moon and sun, etc.
Are the entities residing on the surface? Like, for example, on Earth, as far as we know, we are speaking about living entities on the globe. They are situated on the globe and not inside the globe. So is that a similar understanding for the spherical planets that we know?
At least the scriptures like Vayu Purana, Vishnu Purana says that, just like we talked about sun being a chariot, sun is situated in a chariot, the same concept is mentioned for all other planets also. Here all these planets are basically chariots. The Vishnu Purana and Vayu Purana goes into more details that every chariot, what is the color of the chariot, how many wheels are there, how many spokes are there, how many horses are driving them, what else is happening, etc. All those details are there. Bhagavatam briefly mentions about the sun chariot only, it does not talk about all others. But why it is globe means, though sun is actually a chariot, but the sunlight coming out of the Surya Narayana, that fiery element, it appears to us like a spherical fiery ball. Similarly, moon also, whatever the moonlight that is appearing, coming out of the moon, that also appears to be like a spherical ball. So that's why we generally have the understanding that okay, these are also, earth is spherical, everyone is also spherical. That kind of extrapolation we may do sometimes. But scriptures say that these are all chariots. All the Navagrahas are basically the chariots.
So that would mean that all the living entities there are a part or inhabiting that huge chariot.
Yes, they are inhabiting the chariot. It could be like that. The chariots are very big. They are not like small chariots.
Yeah. Prabhu, can I ask one question which is related to the Bhumandal? Is that okay, or should I ask?
Yes. Quickly.
Yeah, Prabhu. So in the Bhagavatam, we speak about so many personalities, the Manus and their descendants, right? Swayambhu Manu, and third and fourth canto, the Visarga section gives so many kings all the way. So all these personalities, do we understand, especially Manu and the descendants, do we understand that they are residing on our earth, or is it within Bharatvarsha, or is it Jambudvip, or across Bhumandal? How do we understand? So which out of these are humans and which out of these are, divine beings residing elsewhere? Where is the line drawn?
Of course, we have to see like that. All these are humans only. They are living in the Bhumandala. Specifically, we are living in Bharatavarsha and Bharatakanda. Whatever histories are being told to us, they are all compiled by Srila Vasudev. So whatever books compiled by Vasudev, they are specifically meant for Bharatavarsha residents. All those who are living in Bharatavarsha. And all the pastimes mentioned in all these Puranas and Itihasas. So mostly, most of them all happened in our place or in the heaven in relation to us. Heaven also, there are many other pastimes are happening. But only those pastimes which happened in the heaven in relation to us are being mentioned in the scriptures compiled by Vasudev and which are given to all of us. So in that sense, Swayambhu, Manu, Uttanapada, Dhruva, all these kings ruled from Bhatakanda only, though they were ruling the entire Bhumandala. Like Lord Ram was the ruler of the entire Bhumandala, he was ruling from Ayodhya. Swayambhu Manu, after him Uttanapada, after him Dhruva's children, eventually Anga, Vena, Prutu,
Correct.
and then Priyavrata Maharaj, Agnidra, and then Anganai, Nabi, Rishabdev, Bharat Maharaj, they were all ruling from this place only. And their capital, even today, we can see their capital is called as, in the Bhagavatam, it is said as Brahmavarta. Now it is known as Bittur. It is very close to Kanpur on the bank of Ganga. That is said to be the capital of Swayambhu Manu and his entire descendants.
Okay. So we understand that these pastimes happened on Bharat Khanda, which means our earth globe, but the influence of the rule of these kings would be across Bharatvarsha, or in much more earlier past, it could be across, because the chariot made the divisions, right? So at that point, across the whole Bhumandal.
Yes, yes. The kings who ruled during Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, they ruled over the entire Bhumandala. Then the kings who were ruling during Dwapara Yuga, they could rule over entire Jambudvipa. They could not go beyond Jambudvipa because the Dwapara Yuga, the capacity reduces. And in Kali Yuga, maybe up to Parikshit Maharaj, he was ruling the entire Jambudvipa. But after Parikshit Maharaj, starting with his son Janmejaya, their ability to rule over longer areas reduced. Janmejaya was the ruler of entire Bharatavarsha. Eventually, people reduced to their capacity to Bharatkhanda only. And within Bharatkhanda, we have so many countries, sub-countries, etc. So many things happened later on. Now we have small divisions also.
So that means, Prabhu, even though these personalities are Manushya in the way we understand it, obviously I am assuming that in the previous yugas they were much bigger size and capability as compared to us, but looks like they also had mystic powers because they could travel, because the other realms are subtle realms and not within Jambudvip also, with the other Varshas also we are saying that they are heavenly, right? So that means they were not just human in our sense. They had extraordinary yogic siddhis to travel, correct?
Yes.
But the base was always Earth. That means Earth was very special since that time, as even though Earth was still Karma Bhumi, even at that time, Earth is still considered the epicenter, so to say, of the Bhumandal in that.
It was Karma Bhumi, it will remain Karma Bhumi.
Okay.
It won't change.
Okay. Okay, so Manushya is Swayambhuva Manu, the Manu and their descendants, right? That is where we talk about Manushya, correct?
No. Swayambhuva Manu, descendants are basically the rulers of the human beings.
But he himself is Manu as a demigod category. See?
Yeah, he is a powerful personality, though he is a human being, but he has the powers equivalent to Devatas.
Yeah, but he is a human being. So it is not wrong to say that he is a human being.
He is a human being, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhu, so entire surface of the Bhumandala will be known as Karma Bhumi, or the places where people can do their karma, action, reaction thing.
Only Bharatavarsha. Only Bharatavarsha is Karma Bhumi. Remaining part of the Bhumandala is Bhaumaswarga.
Oh, and then what is Apvarga, like Swarga, Apvarga, Narak? There is this statement coming in one of the verse. So Apvarga is places below Swarga?
Apavarga means impersonal Brahman, Sayujya Mukti.
Oh.
And Swarga means Bhuvarloka and Swargaloka and Bhuloka also. Bhuloka in the remaining, what we can say, except Bharatavarsha, the remaining part of Bhumandala is also called as Swarga, Bhauma Swarga. And we have Divya Swarga consisting of Bhuvarloka and Swargaloka. They are Swargas. And Naraka is Narakaloka.
Yeah, got it.
So, Prabhu, Bhuvarloka, I do not know whether you're going to go into more detail about Bhuvar, but since you are describing Bhuvar as Antariksha, as the in-between space, is there some kind of a planetary realm, or it is essentially open space, and what kind of entities are residing in Bhuvarloka?
That we will discuss when we go to chapter 24. That time details are mentioned about Bhuvarloka. We will definitely discuss who are all living there, etc.
Okay.
So for now, starting from the surface of the Bhumandala all the way up to the moon, this entire area is Bhuvarloka, from here to here. This entire area is Bhuvarloka. Starting from moon all the way up to pole star, this entire area is Sargaloka. So this is Svargaloka, and here to here it is Bhuvarloka, and this is Bhuloka.
So Bhuvar starts from what point in space, Prabhu? From an Earth perspective?
Moon.
From the moon perspective, is it?
From the moon all the way up to Dhruvaloka. This is all Svargaloka.
Yeah, that part is clear, Prabhu.
And
But
below the moon, all the way up to the surface of the Bhumandala, that is Bhuvarloka.
okay. So from our perspective, everything, the sky onwards up to the moon is Bhuvar, right? As soon as you go beyond the Earth surface, it becomes Antariksha.
Some part of the sky belongs to us. Wherever the air with which we are familiar, the wind flows, that entire belongs to Bhuloka.
Understood.
And above, there will be no air, the way we experience now. So that is Bhuvarloka.
Okay. So that's okay. Now clear.
In that way. Other devotees, anyone? Any question related to the moon?
Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, this regarding the last class, the Varakdev lifted the Bhumandala, right? So he lifted till the Aloka, means Lokaloka mountains. So up to that portion, right? Is that correct understanding?
See, if you remember in the previous discussion from Bhugola Varnanam, we saw that the Lokaloka mountain is actually stemming from the Garbhodaka ocean. So within Lokaloka mountain, we have Loka Varsha, which is called there in the Bhugola Varnanam as circular earth, consisting of 7 oceans, 7 Dvipas, Swarna Bhumi, Indral, Majraleva, and Brahma Bhumi. That entire thing was submerged into Garbhodaka ocean that was lifted by Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Sorry, Varaha, Lord Varaha. That was the understanding.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, we'll go ahead. So here, in the remaining part of the 22nd chapter, there is a description about the different abodes or a different planetary system that are located within Svargaloka, who are all there in Svargaloka. So as we mentioned that from the surface of the Bhumandala all the way up to moon is Bhuvarloka, from moon all the way up to Dhruvaloka is Svargaloka. As you go upwards with respect to the moon, there comes the 27 nakshatras or 27 constellations, Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika, Rohini, etc. So constellation is nothing but a group of stars, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20, like that. So that group, when you map them together, when you connect them together, they appear to be like a small bear. So in English, they are called as small bears, etc. So that was the understanding. They are basically constellations. They appear to be like a small bear. And this one group of stars, they are all given to 27 daughters of Daksha, who eventually married moon god. So moon had 27 wives. All those 27 wives are residing in these 27 constellations. And they are named after the names of these 27 wives of the moon god. They are known as Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika, Rohini, etc. etc. So these are the 27 constellations in which 27 wives of the moon god are residing. So they are situated 3 lakh yojanas above the moon. They move clockwise around Meru on the wheel of time. And they are 28 in number along with Abhijit. Abhijit is not always there, but whenever Abhijit comes, he comes in between Ashada and Shravana. So Ashada and Shravana also are 2 nakshatras, Uttarashada, Purvashada, Uttarashada, and Shravana is there. And between Uttarashada and Shravana, there comes Abhijit nakshatra whenever it appears. It is not always seen, but sometimes it is seen, sometimes it is not seen. So in that way. So along with Abhijit, there are 28 constellations. So like that. And as you go upward after constellations by a height of 2 lakh yojanas, we come to Venus. So Venus is the abode of Shukracharya. He lives here along with the descendants of Bhrugumuni. Shukracharya also is the son of Bhrigu, and many other descendants of Bhrigu. They also reside in this Shukra Graha or Venus. It is their residence. And as you go upward a little bit, there comes Mercury. Mercury is the abode of the son of moon god Soma. because though he had married 27 daughters of Daksha, he had shown special favoritism towards Rohini. So unable to tolerate this, the remaining 26 daughters went and complained Daksha. And Daksha became very angry and cursed moon to lose his brightness. It seems that before this curse, the moon was completely bright always full effulgent. So, but because Daksha cursed to lose that brightness, the moon was losing its brightness continuously. So moon became afraid and came to Daksha and prayed for forgiveness. Then Daksha said, I cannot do anything, but you please go and pray to Lord Shiva. He can forgive you. So then moon god went to Prabhas Kshetra. He prayed to Lord Shiva, who is called as Somanath now. Some say it is in Somanath, and some say that he went to Udupi. In Udupi, he prayed to Lord Shiva. So like that it is said. So then our Lord Shiva blessed him, saying that I cannot nullify the curse completely, but for 15 days you will lose your brightness, and for the other 15 days you will gradually increase your brightness. Like that, since then the concept of waxing moon and waning moon started. So that's how it is said. And eventually moon god could not beget any children through any of his wife. He wanted to have a son. So then Tara, who is the wife of Bruhaspati, the preceptor of the Devatas, so agreed upon to beget a son through moon. So moon god kind of begot a son through Tara, and his name is Buddha. Brahma himself, understanding this fellow is very intelligent, named him as Buddha. So that Buddha is residing in this Mercury Graha or Buddha Graha. So that is the understanding. He is residing here along with his family members, friends, children, etc. etc. They are all residing here. Then as you go upward by 2 lakh yojanas, there comes Mars. So Mars is the abode of Kartikeya. Kartikeya himself resides here in this Mars planet. It is also called as Mangala Graha, Angaraka Graha, Kuja Graha. It's like that. So here Kartikeya and many other friends, relatives and other people also reside here in this particular place. Then as you go above by 2 lakh yojanas, there comes Jupiter, which is the abode of Bruhaspati, the preceptor of the Devatas. Here Bruhaspati is being worshipped by the Devatas and taken care of by the Devatas. Then as you go upward, there comes Saturn, Shani. Just like the son of moon god residing in Mercury, the son of sun god is residing in Saturn. His name is Shani or Shaneshwara. So he is residing in this particular place. And as you go upward by 1.1 million yojanas, there comes 7 stars. So that is known as Saptarushi Mandal. So the 7 stars, the Devatas, the Rishis who are living in the 7 stars are actually varying every Manvantara period. So currently we have 7 Saptarishis living in the 7 stars who are working for the welfare of all of us. So Saptarishis like that, Jamadagni and Angira and many other great souls are there in this Saptarishi Mandal. For this entire Manvantara they will be there. They will be looking after the maintenance of the principles of Sanatana Dharma, etc. And then as you go upward by 1.3 million yojanas, there comes Dhruva Loka, which is actually the abode of Kshirodaksha Vishnu, who was residing there. But when Dhruva Maharaj performed severe austerities to get a place superior to that of Brahma, his grandfather, not grandfather, great grandfather. So because his mother told that by worshipping Vishnu, Lord Brahma became Brahma, and your grandfather Manu became Swayambhu Manu, etc. If you also worship Vishnu, you will get a position like them, something like that. Then with the determination, Dhruva Maharaj goes to forest to get a position superior to that of his great grandfather. Then following the instructions of Narada Muni, by worshipping Lord Vishnu, he had the darshan of Lord Vishnu. He became the king on the Bhumandala, ruled for 1100 celestial years. Then, as promised by Lord Vishnu, because he approached Lord Vishnu saying that I wanted to have a position superior to that of Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma residing in Satyaloka is the in charge of the creation. He is taking care of all the devatas by taking care of them. And then superior to the abode of Lord Brahma is only one thing, that is the abode of Lord Vishnu. So Lord said that, okay, since you have asked something which is superior to that of Lord Brahma, I will give you my own abode, which was previously known as Vishnupada. After giving it to Dhruva Maharaj, it became known as Dhruva Loka. And Lord Vishnu thought that Lord Brahma residing in Satyaloka performed the creation of the entire universe. And the seva superior to the creation is maintenance. So I personally take care of the maintenance, but since you wanted to come and do your seva here, you become transparent. So you live here. So that's what he says. So I will give you my own abode, and also I will give you my own service of maintaining the entire universe. That's how Dhruva Maharaj went to Lord Vishnu, Shivasya Vishnu's abode, and he is residing there now, and he is worshipping Lord Vishnu by rendering service on his behalf and taking care of the maintenance. So basically, how he is maintaining, he is controlling the movements of the planets, constellations, zodiac signs, stars, etc. Everyone's movements are under the control of Dhruva. That's how he is, one sense, maintaining the entire universe. So like this, all these planets that we hear about in our daily studies, etc., they are all said to be at one above the other in the Bhagavatam. But it's not exactly one above the other. Their plane is one above the other. The planets may be horizontal, may be inside or outside, anywhere. That height-wise, the details are mentioned in the Bhagavatam. And so even though scientists might be exploring that, going to Mars, going to Mercury, Venus, let us explore, let us send human beings there, etc. But unfortunately, that cannot be possible. So if one wants to go to other place, either one should be qualified or one should duplicate. Then one can do it. So these are the various things about the upper planetary systems. So you see one after the other here. The moon, 27 nakshatras, Shukra Graha, Buddha Graha, Mangala Graha, Guru Graha, Shani Graha, Saptarushi Mandal, and Dhruva Loka. One after the other, or one above the other, all these different things are there. But though in this picture they are shown very big like this and here, but actually the distance between the Earth globe to the pole star is only 3.8 million yojanas. The distance between Earth globe to the sun, it is 11.667 or basically 12 million yojanas. If this is supposed to be 12, this is supposed to be 3.8. It is supposed to be somewhat like this. Even it should compress much more, then we'll have proper understanding. So here we are discussing many names, many different names, etc. Something called as nakshatra, etc. Something called as riksha, taraka, and graha, etc. What is the meaning of this particular terminology? Nakshatra means that which delivers us from the fear of darkness during the night time is called nakshatra. Any object that gives us some light in the night time, dead of the night, that is called nakshatra. So nakshatras are those objects which give us some brightness during the night time. So there are so many subcategories in the nakshatras. One category is riksha. Riksha is basically a group of stars which appear to be like bears. In Ramayana, we hear that Jambavan is called as Riksha Raja, is the king among all bears. Riksha means bear, literal meaning. So all these 27 constellations appear to be like bears. They are generally called as rikshas. But in our day-to-day conversations, instead of calling them as riksha, they are called as nakshatras. And then there are tarakas. All other stars, small stars that are there in the entire sky, they are all called as taraka in Sanskrit. Their size varies from half yojana to 100 yojanas. Basically, these are all like Vimanas, like we read and hear from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3, that Kardama Muni had created a aerial mansion for the pleasure of Devahuti. So in the heaven, such kind of Vimanas are there. So their diameter varies, their width varies from half yojana to 100 yojanas. That means half yojana means 6.5 kilometers. One tara is about 6.5 kilometers. When a Brahmana leads a life of austerities, when a Kshatriya leads a life of chivalry, when a Vaishya leads a life of charities, before their piety completes, they, according to their piety, they will be promoted to heaven and they will enjoy their life being situated in one of these tarakas. That's why the root word is through. To cross, those who do good deeds cross this world and attain the tarakas. Tara also means they are white and bright. And then, in addition to Rukshas, the group of stars, in addition to Tarakas, in addition to Rashis, Rashi Mandalas, we have 12 Rashis. Amesha, Rushabha, Tula, they are also group of stars. They are also like constellation kind of things. In addition to them, we also have nine grahas, Navagrahas, planets like sun, moon, etc. And all other planets shine because of the sunlight that is mentioned. So in the Bhagavad Gita, in relation to all these things, Lord Krishna says that Nakshatranam Aham Shashi. Among all those objects that give brightness during night time, I am moon, because the brightness of the moon is very great. And then he also said that among all those objects which give light both day and night, I am sun, because sunlight is the greatest in one sense. And then in relation to grahas, Lord Krishna says that Jyotisham Raviramshamam. Among all the objects that shine during the day and night, I am sun. Though in the night time the moonlight is more, but in the daytime the moonlight is not at all comparable to sunlight. So that sunlight is considered the Supreme Lord. Lord's Vibhutis. So like that, we can see the distinction between these different objects that are there in the outer sky. So kindly note that the Bhumandala is stationary, Dhruvaloka is stationary, and everything in between, they are continuously revolving. The sun, moon, Mars, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, all these nakshatras, all those rashis, all those tarakas, they all make one round over every day. That is basically every day they complete one parikrama around Dhruvaloka. They are basically offering obeisances to Dhruva, and not Dhruva. Lord Vishnu is there in the Dhruvaloka, Kyudaksha Vishnu, and performing one parikrama every day. That is their service. They continue to do that for the entire day of Brahma. Akalpantam. So some examples that are shown in the Bhagavatam. How to understand that all these are heavenly abodes are all airplanes or chariots. Here is some examples you can read. So one example from 23rd chapter about Devahuti Kardama, the real mansion. And another example is from 6th canto. Chitraketu Maharaj, after performing austerities, he also was blessed to become Vidyadhara, king of Vidyadharas. So when he became king of Vidyadharas, he was given an airplane. He traveled in that airplane for 1 lakh years. And during Dakshayagnya episode in Kailash, where Sati and Shiva were there, the Devatas and Upadevatas, Gandharvas, Apsaras, they were all traveling in their respective airplanes to attend Daksha's Yajna, which was happening at the base of Vyasa Gufa. Yeah. So then, so they were all going to the Daksha Yajna. Sati saw them and requested Lord Shiva that let us also go, something like that. And then 4:12, when Dhruva Maharaj was going back to the abode of Lord Vishnu to take the responsibility of the universal maintenance, at that time, he himself and his mother Suniti and are traveling in one aerial mansion, and side by there are so many side aerial mansions. Then finally, when Prithu Maharaj was going to spiritual world, as he entered into the final pyre, giving up that body, she also entered into spiritual world. Being situated in that airplane. On the way, different devatas along with their concerts, they were glorifying King Prithu and so etc. So these are different examples of aerial mansions being there in the heaven. In all these cases, there is a description of only aerial mansion in the heaven. So this is a 3D picture we see. So in the middle, there is Mount Meru and Bhartakanda, and all the planets are revolving around it. And in the top, there is pole star. So these are different things that are mentioned there. Yeah. Then in the 23rd chapter, there is a discussion about Shishimara planetary systems. So all these different planets and stars and tarakas, when we map them together, sometimes the mapping appears to be like a dolphin. That is called Shishimara planetary systems. There is a discussion about that. It appears to be like a great machine consisting of stars and planets. It resembles like a Shishimara. Kundali Bhutadeya, Prabhupada and our Acharyas translate it as dolphin. It is considered to be an incarnation of Lord Krishna known as Vasudeva. Yogis contemplate upon this imaginary Shishimara and meditate upon it as Virat Rupa. So many yogis consider this to be Virat Rupa and meditate on this for the perfection of their yogic process, because it is actually visible. And the people who know about it, they call it as zodiac wheel. Just zodiac or otherwise. So when a yogi seated in our Himalayas on the surface of the earth globe, he observes, he sees the Shishimara like a dolphin which is jumping across the ocean. It's like this, jumping across the ocean. So this can be seen by our camera also. Sometimes some like this appears in the direction connecting eastern and western. This is a picture taken during sunlight, during the night time. So then here we have different indications according to the modern scientific. They say this is like that. So this is how all those revolving around the earth in the daytime, they are all connected to Dhruva through a rope of wind made up of. So how to understand? Then Bhagavatam says that the head of the dolphin is downward, the tail of the dolphin is upward. But when a yogi meditates, he sees like this. The understanding is like this. The yogi is meditating in India, in the Himalayas, which is very close to line of equator. So for him, it is appearing like that. But in the 3D universe, the earth globe is like this with respect to the Bhumandala. Then the face of the Shishimara will be bottom, close to the Bhumandala, and tail is above, close to the pole star. So like this. Then the description about who is where. Dhruvaloka is situated on the tip of the tail, and the abode of Prajapati Daksha, Agni, Indra, and Dharma, they all residing in the middle of in the body of the tail. So this is where Indra's abode, known as Amaravati, is capital town, is residing. Here only happens so many mistakes. So then you go a little bit downward, there comes the abodes of Data and Vidata. So Indra's abode is Amaravati, that is the capital, and below that we have Data, Vidata. Data and Vidata is also, they are younger brothers of Indra. Aditi gave birth to 12 Adityas. One among them is Indra, and the two among others are Data, Vidata. They also reside here. Even Prajapati Daksha also resides here. Agnidev also resides here. Dharmaraj, the Dharma person for race, stays here. And little below that we have Saptarushi Mandal, the 7 sages such as Vasishta, Angira, and then Jamadagni, etc. They are residing here. Then as you go downward, there comes Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Mercury, Venus. Then there little down below is 28 nakshatras. Little down below is Moon. Moon is situated in the mind of that particular species. Then there is Sun, and then there is Ashwini Kumaras, and then we have Rahu and Yamaraja. Yamaraja and Rahu are situated here. Of course, this is not Yamaraja's Yamaloka. Yamaraja also has got a township somewhere here. So in that way. In the heart of this particular dolphin is Narayana, who is the Paramatma of this entire Shishimara planetary systems. So this is all about the Shishumara planetary systems. Though it is not clearly mentioned in the Bhagavatam, but in the last purport of the 23rd chapter, there is a brief mention about the upper four planetary systems, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, at what distance, at what height they are located, what kind of people they are living. Srila Prabhupada writes about all these details in one purport. So Maharloka is the abode of great sages and rishis. In large number, the Siddhas and rishis live here. And Janaloka is the abode of great sages and rishis, headed by their leader is Bhrugumuni. Bhrugumuni resides in this Janaloka. And Tapaloka is also the abode of great sages and rishis, headed by 4 Kumaras. And one among the 11 Rudras resides in this Tapaloka. So one of the 11 Rudras is residing in Ilavrta Varsha, one among the 11 is residing in the greater Himalayas, and one is residing here in Tapaloka. And later on in the next week, we also see that one will be residing in this Vitala, one among the 7 lower planetary systems. The second one, Vitala, there also one of the 11 Rudras is residing. And as we go little upward, there comes Satyaloka. Satyaloka is the abode of Lord Brahma. He stays along with his associates, especially the Veda personified. The 4 Vedas have their personified forms: 4 Upavedas, 6 Vedangas, 18 major Puranas, 19 Puranas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Idyasas. Everyone has a personal form. They will all reside here. So these are few details that are mentioned in that particular section. So here you see, this is our entire universe. The lower half is Garbhodaka ocean, upper half is we have Bhumandala and then upper planetary systems. And only if you take upper half, their names are mentioned here: Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. Below that Swargaloka and then Bhurloka. So here is a small video about some of these upper planetary systems.
Vedic cosmology explains that the universe is made up of 14 vertically arranged planetary systems, or lokas. Each system resembles a galaxy and comprises stars, planets, and other celestial bodies. The topmost planetary system is Satyaloka, the abode of Brahma, which is at a height of 1.87 billion miles above Earth. Below this Satyaloka planetary system is the Tapaloka planetary system, the abode of the ascetics, which is at a height of nearly 1 billion miles above the Earth. Here the ascetics live in a solitary, serene environment conducive for yoga and meditation on transcendence. Their disciplined life of joyous austerity prepares them for returning back to the non-material world. As we move down from Tapaloka, we pass through Maharloka and Janaloka until we reach the Svargaloka planetary system, also known as heaven.
Then, as you go above, here is Satyaloka. Here is Satyaloka, and here the universal covering starts. In this intermediate space, there is one Vaikunta, which is known as Mahavaikuntha, where the Manvantara Avatara stays. Here in this place, in Dhruloka, Kshirodaksha Vishnu stays. And here in this Vaikunta, the Manvantara Avatara stays. So that width is 16.2 million yojanas above Satyaloka. So in this free space is the Mahavaikuntha, created by Lord Vaikunta to please Mother Lakshmi. So this Lord Vaikunta is the son of Shubhra and Vikunta, which is mentioned in 8th Canto, chapter 5, verse number 4 to 6, which is further described elaborately in 3rd Canto, chapter 15 and 16, where 4 Kumaras goes to see the wonderful darshan of Lord Vishnu. That Vaikunta is located just above Satyaloka, or Brahma's abode, which is again mentioned in the 2nd Canto, 5th chapter, in verse number 38-39, where it says that Murtabi Satyalokastu Brahmaloka Sanatana. In relation to Virat Purusha, the forehead is Satyaloka, and above that there is the abode of the supreme absolute truth, that is called Vaikunta, which is eternal. So in that Brahmaloka Sanatana, Brahmaloka is not Lord Brahma's loka, but Brahmaloka is the Loka of Brahman, the absolute truth, that is Supreme Lord. which is also mentioned in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, which says that Maha Vaikuntha Lokasya Vyapakasya Ave Atmana Prakati Karanam Satyopari Kalpanam Uchate. It is said that Satya Upari, just above Satyaloka, it was manifested by Lord Vaikuntha for the pleasure of Mother Lakshmi. So that Vaikuntha is there in that free space, just above Satyaloka. This is the abode of Lord Brahma. A little above is the Vaikuntha Loka, where Manvantara Avatara stays. Currently, Vamana is staying in this Vaikuntha Loka. He is the current Manvantara Avatara, he stays there. And this is where the four Kumaras went to have darshan of Lord Vishnu. So, in that way. Where, while they were entering into 7th gate, they were stopped by Jaya Vijaya, and then so much counter cursing happened. Eventually, they had darshan of Lord Vishnu and they returned. And it is further described in 2993, 2nd Canto 9 chapter, where it says that when Lord Brahma performed tapasya, severe tapasya, so Garbhodaksha Vishnu showed his own abode known as Mahavaikuntha and gave darshan to him and gave and spoke to him the essence of the entire Bhagavatam in 4 sloka, Chatushloki Bhagavatam, so etc. And in 9.4.60 it is mentioned that Vaikuntakyam idadaste Srinivasa Shreyasaha. In order to protect himself from the heat of Sudarshan Chakra, our Durvasa Muni goes to Lord Shiva's abode, Kailash, then Lord Brahma's abode, Satyaloka, then Lord Vishnu's abode, Mahavaikuntha. There is a Lord Srinivasa and Mother Lakshmi. It is also mentioned in 10th Canto 8th chapter. Bhrugumuni, in order to test the 3 deities, first he goes to Brahma, tests Brahma. Then he goes to Lord Shiva, tests Lord Shiva. Then he goes to Lord Vishnu, this Vaikuntha, in order to test Lord Vishnu. That is mentioned. Ato Jagama Vaikuntam Yatar Devo Janardana. So all these pastimes happened in this Vaikuntha, which is located just above Satyaloka. So these are some of the images of that particular abode. This is the darshan shown to Lord Brahma. This is like Durvasa Muni creating a fiery demon to kill Ambarish Maharaj. But Sudarshan Chakra chases after, kills the fiery demon and then chases after Durvasa. And that Durvasa goes to Vaikuntha, where he receives darshan of Lord Vishnu and Mother Lakshmi, Srinivasa Shreyasaha. But Lord says, please go and take shelter of Ambarish Maharaj only. Then Bhrugumuni also goes to the same Vaikuntha to test Lord Vishnu by kicking on his chest. That also happened here. Then Mother Lakshmi, feeling very sad, she comes down to Kolhapur to perform austerities, tapasya. And searching after Mother Lakshmi, Lord Vishnu comes to Tirumala Hills. That's how the entire Lord manifests in the form of Srinivasa in Tirumala Hills. So like that, within our universe, we have 7 upper planetary systems. Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. Here is a brief description about all these planetary systems in the upper portion. And afterwards, after crossing this Vaikuntha, we have 7 layers of the universe, followed by the 3 gunas in 3 layers. 7 layers made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether, Ankara, Mahatattva. Then there is Tamas layer, Rajas layer, Sattva layer, like the total 10 layers. All put together, the total diameter of the earth will be, the total diameter of the Brahmanda will be 10 to the power of 18 yojanas. So like that, our universe has been presented. And after crossing through these 7 layers, then we come to Viraja river, where Karnadosha Vishnu is situated. And then crossing that, if you go, there comes Brahmajyoti. Crossing that, if you go, there comes unlimited Vaikuntha planets. Crossing them, we go, we get Ayodhya, Dwaraka, Madura, Goloka, Vrindavan. So like that, these are different places that are briefly mentioned in our this chart, etc. These are some details. That's how our universe has been discussed in our Vedic literatures. So here the picture which is made to the drawing, made to the scale. This is our entire universe. Lower half is filled with Garbhodaka ocean. Upper half we have all these things. The first ring is the Dhruvaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. And these hubs are the Lokaloka mountain. And this portion, when we magnify, it is like this. This is the Bhumandala with lower 7 lower planetary systems: Rahu, Ketu, Sun, Moon, constellations, Venus, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Saptarishi Mandal, Dhruvaloka, etc. So this is about the description of the upper planetary systems. So we'll stop here. In the next class, we'll discuss from chapter 24, 25, 26 about Bhuvarloka and Bilasvargas, and also about Shesha and hellish planetary systems. So sorry, we have gone 10 minutes ahead, but we'll stop here. If there are any questions from devotees, we'll take a couple of questions and then we'll take more questions in the next class.
Prabhu, so I had impression that Dhruv Loka is the place where Shivadatchai Vishnu stays and there is Shiravasan and all of that. But today I'm hearing that it's after Satyaloka. So it's kind of something new information.
Shirodakshaya Vishnu stays here in Dhruloka, but the Vaikuntha which is located here, it is the residence of Manvantara Avatara. Manvantara Avatara stays in that Vaikuntha above Satyaloka. Both are different.
When it's talking about, demigods and other rishis going to the bank of Shivadatchai Vishnu to pray Lord to appear. So are we talking about Dhruva Loka or that Vishnu Loka?
That happens here only. The Devatas praying to Lord Vishnu happens here in Polestar, Dhruloka.
That's now abode of the Lord Dhruva Maharaj. So what would happen now in future when they have to go and request the Lord to come? Are they going to the Dhruva Loka or they're going to other places?
No. Dhruloka, previously it was actually the abode of Lord Vishnu known as Vishnupada. So since Dhruva Maharaj wanted something superior to Brahma, Lord gave his own abode. But within Dhruloka, in one corner there is a milk ocean. Within that milk ocean there is the island known as Shvetadipa. In that Shvetadipa, even now also, Shirodakshaya Vishnu stays.
Oh, okay. So that doesn't change. Thank you, Prabhu. So from Bhumandal to Dhruloka, that's called Bhuvarloka, right?
No. From Bhumandal to moon, that is called Bhuvarloka. From moon to Dhruloka, that is called Svargaloka. This is all Svargaloka.
Oh, I thought that after. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, the Manvantar avatar, when you say you're talking about the Manu, is it for each Manvantar?
Yes.
So the Manu himself stays in the Mahavaikuntha, is what you are saying, for the respective Manvantar.
During each Manvantara period, there is a Manvantara Avatara. Lord Vishnu directly comes and he kind of oversees the maintenance of the entire universe. Manu is different from Manvantara Avatara.
Okay.
Both are different. Manu is a king ruling over the Bhumandala, all the human beings. Manvantara Avatara is Lord Vishnu's expansion. During the first Manvantara, the Manvantara Avatara was Lord Yajna. And during the sixth Manvantara Avatara was Lord Ajita, who helped all the Devatas and Asuras to churn the ocean of milk. In the seventh Manvantara, the Manvantara Avatara is Lord Vamana, who went to Bali Maharaj and as a Brahmana begging 3 pairs of land, took away the heaven and gave it to Indra. So that is Manvantara Avatara.
Okay. So looks like within the same universe we have the Lord staying in the Mahavaikuntha, we have the Lord in Dhruva, we also have the Lord within the Garbhodak ocean as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Correct?
Yes.
In 3 places. So obviously the Garbhodakshai Vishnu seems, from what you have described as practically inaccessible, is also probably very, very huge form of the Lord, and inside the Garbhodak ocean. So there is no pastimes of directly approaching Garbhodakshai Vishnu, is it?
Yes, there are no pastimes. It is only Brahma who, in the beginning, without understanding where from he came, he performed austerities, he prayed. Then he had darshan of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Correct. That is the only mention about Garbhodakshaya Vishnu.
So that Lord is actually immersed in the water, correct, Prabhu? He's not on the water, he's inside the water.
He's inside here.
Inside the water.
Right? The Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is actually at the bottom of the Garbhodak ocean. He actually stays here. He takes rest here.
And he's also lying on Ananta. Also in the milk ocean, the Lord is lying on Ananta.
Yes.
But in the Mahavaikuntha, it is not like that. It is the Lord residing with Shri.
Yes. In Mahavaikuntha, he is seated on Simhasan.
Correct. And what is the purpose of this Mahavaikuntha, and what kind of living entities would be here? They should be eternal, perfected associates of the Lord, right? And what is the special purpose within? Because I would assume every universe would have this kind of a Mahavaikuntha.
Yes, because it is the Lord's responsibility to maintain the universe. So Lord has to be there to maintain.
Yeah, but he's already in as Shirodakshay Vishnu and Garbhodakshay Vishnu.
Shirodakshay Vishnu is there, is also Paramatma, is also maintaining. But for every Manvantara also there is a separate Lord also comes and to maintain them. That's why he is called as Manvantara Avatara.
Okay.
So everyone has different role to play.
Correct. So this specific abode is specifically for the Manvantara
Avatara.
Okay. Prabhu, one more question on the Graha and the stars. You mentioned in the definition that the Grahas are reflecting the light of the sun. Now, of course, Prabhupada oftentimes mentions that sun is the only luminous object. All others are ultimately reflecting the light of the sun. So in that sense, what is the essential difference for the stars, right? Because we had this discussion. Now I'm talking about, when I'm talking about stars, I'm talking about the nakshatras, whom we define as stars. I'm also talking about the Saptarishis, whom also we generally consider as stars. So are they reflecting the sunlight, or are they in any way different from the grahas?
Only grahas reflect sunlight. The stars are self-luminous. They have, in the same slide in the top, we have written, they have one ray. That one ray is always coming. Nakshatra means they never fade. So in that way. Only grahas go to the concept of fading.
And also the same concept that you explained, that each of these stars are also like chariots and abodes. So that applies across all the nakshatras and Saptarshi Lokas, all of them the same concept.
Yes, yes. They are all like aerial mansions like that of Kardama Muni.
Correct.
They are Vimanas.
So Prabhu, looks like at least up to pole star, there is at least something we can see. Of course, we cannot see into the abode, but at least in the sky, we can see something for most of these. But yes, is it correct that above the pole star, the Mahar Janar Tapasatya, there is no indication for us as earth human beings? There's nothing we can perceive even from a light or something perspective. Is that correct?
No, we can't see. Even here, within up to pole star, up to Swargaloka, there is a concept of day and night. People have day and night. Because of that, we are able to see them. But in the four planetary system, Mahar, Jana, Tapa, Satya, the entire Brahma's day is their day. They don't have any night in between. Brahma's day is their day, Brahma's night is their night. So their day lasts for 1000 Chaturyugas.
And they are not lighted by the sun, is it?
No. Sunlight is not liquid. Sunlight is only three planetary systems: Bhuloka, Borloka, Swargaloka.
Okay. So then the higher planets are self-luminous in some way, I would assume.
Yeah, self-luminous, because they are the residents of the perfect mystics. So correct. They don't need any sunlight.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, Brahma Samhita says, Devi Mahesha Hari Nama Teshu Teshu. So that is this Devi Mahesh and Hari.
This is all Devi Dham. And this is Mahesh Dham. This is Hari Dham. This is Krishna Dham.
Okay, so Mahesh Dham is in between. The Brahma Jyoti is Mahesh Dham. Yeah,
Brahma Jyoti is Mahesh Dham. Brahma Jyoti, Lord Sadashiva resides in Brahma Jyoti.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Prabhu, one more question. Can I ask?
Yes, Prabhu, quickly.
So, Prabhu, Viraja, after covering the 7 layer, Viraja is mentioned as a river. So, Viraja river. Karna ocean, I read many places it's cloud. So, Karna is not an ocean, it's cloud. And then Viraja is a river. Is that correct? I always get confused, how much of that is a river and water and how much of that is cloud. Lord, as Mahavishnu, Shirodakshay Vishnu resides with his consort in Karna ocean, right? So is it like ocean of water or is it like cloud? What exactly is the Karna?
It is called as Karna Odaka Shai Vishnu. Udaka or Udaka Mandalam. Udaka is actually water. The Karna ocean, which is also called as Viraja Nadi, the water comes out of the Vedanga Sweda Janitai. The Karna ocean is nothing but Vedanga Sweda Janitai. The sweat of the body limbs of the Veda personified is the causal ocean. So in that ocean, Mahavishnu lies down on his snake bed and is situated in Yoga Nidra.
So you were saying that Biraj and causal ocean is the same?
Yeah, same. Both are same.
Oh, and it's water, not cloud.
Yeah, not cloud, water.
Oh, thank you, Prabhu. This has been a long confusion for me.
And
Thank
all
you.
these universes, they are all floating in the Karana ocean.
Yes, Prabhu. So Bhumandala is floating on the Garbha ocean. But how about other, stars and other planetary systems that we saw? They are just hanging there because of the motion, or is there some supporting force to make them?
They are
like
all
this?
connected to pole star. Since they are revolving around pole star, they are maintained in their respective position. Simple like that. In childhood, we must have seen that Rangula Ratnam. The children will be sitting and it will be moving around.
Yeah.
So something like that. All the planets are moving around, but being connected to the pole star, which is above. Yeah, like this.
But polar star is a snurry too. It's not moving.
Not moving.
So how that's being then hold?
Basically, it is center, center of all the things. Center is like center only. It will be the center of all the orbits of all these stars, grahas, everyone. For everyone is the center of their orbits. So these are all moving like this, keeping pole star in the center, connected by a rope like this.
So are we saying there is some kind of a subtle rope-like connection between all these rotating celestial objects with the pole stars, or
these are called Vata Rashmi. Vata
Okay.
Rashmi. Vata means wind. Rashmi is rope. Rope made up of wind. Wind basically we can call it as Pravaha.
Okay, so there is some kind of a subtle connection.
Yeah,
They are
this is a
holding
subtle
together.
connection. Yeah.
Prabhu, Earth is stationary, which is not moving, right?
No. Entire Bhumandala is stationary.
Yes,
Above Bhumandala and below Dhruvaloka, everything is moving. Bhumandala is not moving.
Okay, thank you.
And there is also no concept of the full universe itself also of any kind of a rotation or something, right? Each of them is just
No.
floating
Within the
in
universe,
space.
Bhumandala and everything below is stationary. Dhruvaloka and everything above is stationary. Within this area, there is a movement.
Correct. But I'm talking about amongst all the multitude of universes which emanate from the body of Lord Mahavishnu, our understanding is they emanate out and then go back into the body of
Yes.
Mahavishnu, correct? There is no other movement or rotation or any other concept.
As long as they are existing, they will be floating on the Karnadaka ocean. That's all. There is no rotation for them.
Okay.
They will be floating side by Mahavishnu.
Prabhu, so sorry, this is very interesting. So, I mean, thanks. Sorry to ask so many questions, and thank you for you being so tolerant. So, you mentioned that, when causal ocean is basically penetrated by Lord's feet, then it's falling on the top of the Mandara mountain, and then it's getting into the four direction, and it's falling into the Bhumandala, and then that is source of Mother Ganges.
Yes.
So there are four, a stream of that's getting into the four direction. And then you mentioned that when it falls, due to the, kind of force by which it's falling, the wave comes, and that wave is sufficient enough to cross the mountain to go to the other, part of the, Bhumandala. So everywhere it's called Ganges, or what, how those rivers are known now? Like, we have only one Ganges.
There were different names, no? We have seen Chakshu, Bhadra, Sita, Alakananda.
Okay. So there are different names.
Yeah, names are there. Ganga is also called as Ganga. It also has different names also.
Yeah, that was the confusion. That are we calling all of them Ganges, or we are calling them one of them Ganges and rest other names? Okay, Prabhu. So that's pretty clear.
Okay, then we'll stop here. So next Sunday will be festival. Hopefully, I hope that we will not be having class. Narasimha Chaturthi, we will be fasting whole day till dusk. So we'll not be having class next week. The week after that, we'll have class.
So where can I get the recording of all the classes?
So some of the
We are not getting any recording, anything like that.
You check with your coordinator, Ruji.
Okay.
Yeah, Prabhu, all the recordings, I'm not the coordinator, but I had asked this question earlier, and there is a playlist on YouTube where all these recordings are being uploaded. So you post a message in the our Bhakti Vaibhav course group, or you can look up in the group, they have posted the list, the playlist already. Yeah. Or you can ask a question there, they'll post it again. There's a playlist for all these classes.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I'll ask. Hare Krishna. Dandavats.
Thank you so much, Pavaneshwar Prabhu. Dandavats.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Really appreciate your kindness on this subject.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you.
ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री
जय।
प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्तवृंद की जय।
Jai.